What if I told you there's a prospect whose stock is rising so fast that by the time the draft comes around, he may even be considered the best prospect to come out of Marshall since Randy Moss? And this is no disrespect to Byron Leftwich or Chad Pennington, but the buzz that's been created for Mike Green over the past 3 or 4 weeks during the draft process has been crazy to see. And if it wasn't enough, he just came off a remarkable 2 days of practice at the Senior Bowl. It seems like he kind of fell under the radar because obviously he played at Marshall, but after the season is over and we start assessing who the potential prospects are, when you see the numbers, they're hard to deny. Mike Green led the nation in sacks with 17. He had a 20.1% pass rush win rate, which is in the 96th percentile. He had 59 total pressures, which is in the 99th percentile, a 91.4 pass rush grade, which is a 93rd percentile, and a 90.2 run defense grade, which is in the 99th percentile as well. And if the numbers don't jump out enough, when you turn on the tape, he jumps out of that as well. So in this video, we're gonna go into the film room and just look at what makes Mike Green so good and why his stock has continued to rise so fast in this draft process. But if you're new to the channel, consider hitting the subscribe button. I do recap and analysis of the Panthers, but in particularly, I love talking about the draft and prospects just like Mike Green. So if you wanna see more film breakdowns like this and rankings for the draft as we go through the process, please hit that subscribe button. I'm on my quest to get to 20,000 subscribers. So please join on this journey as we talk about the draft process, because Mike Green has pretty much stamped himself as a first-round draft pick after his performance in the Senior Bowl. Playing at a smaller school, there's always questions about the level of competition he plays and if it'll translate against other teams. So the first thing you're gonna see when you watch Mike Green is he's gonna jump off the tape just because of his motor and his effort. Look at him lined up here outside here on the edge. He's just gonna split a double team and get home to the quarterback. He is great at closing and getting things done when he gets past the blocker. So just watch the effort, just relentless pursuit on the play. He's gonna come upfield, split this double team inside, get a little piece of him here, but still able to get the ankle of the quarterback and get him on the ground. Again, that effort that you see here from this guy to start outside, give him an inside swim move. The guy still has him. He's being grabbed. The guard tries to come help. It's still not enough. Once he has his sights on the quarterback, once he gets here, it's over, man. He wants to get there and get that quarterback down in a hurry, man. Just the effort jumps out to me. Again, the effort just jumps off the tape. He's going to be here lined up here on the left. You want to use him as a looper in some games and twists and stunts. He can do that as well. He's going to use that swim move again inside to get himself free, loop around, get here. I don't even know if he's supposed to loop. I think it's just a natural kind of game on that rush that they ran. But regardless, you can see the swim move, the effort, free himself to come around the corner. Once he gets there and gets free, he's able to corral the quarterback again, grabbing his legs, and he has a cool celebration with the bow and arrow from his knees. Just a relentless, like I say, a pass rusher. Once he gets his sights on the quarterback, the ability to close and finish can't be understated. It's not just effort that he's out there. He also has a nice bag, and his go-to move is this outside spin where he sets it up inside and goes outside. This time he's going to be on the right side, and they're going to try to block him with a tight end, which is something I don't advise, but he's going to go inside, see the quarterback booting out, get that spin move to free himself. And again, once he sets his sights on the quarterback, man, it's over. So watch this move here, sets it up inside to give that inside shoulder. Look at that right foot stabbing into the ground and spins off that, able to keep his balance, get the quarterback in his sight still, and get him on the ground, man. This is how you end up getting to 17 sacks. Yes, it's a lot of it is effort, but some of it has to be a little bit of some moves as well. But you may be thinking, Dunk, he's going against MAC competition in his conference, small schools. Nah. It translates a little bit over to some bigger competition as well. We're going to be going against Ohio State, the national champion Ohio State. He's going to be lined up here on the right side as well. And again, you're going to see that inside fake that ends up going to the outside spin. Just really uncanny for somebody to do this type of move because it's hard to keep your balance faking inside and boom, going outside. Look how fast he does it. And again, once he gets the quarterback in sight, he's good about going down to the legs. The one thing I will say about him, I want to see him go a little bit higher at quarterbacks. In the NFL, they want you to go after the ball. Once you get them in sights like this, you need to be able to get sack fumbles. Sacks are cool, but sacks fumbles are even better because you get the sack anyway, and you can potentially turn the ball over. But again, going against better competition against Ohio State, again, plants off that outside foot. Look at the agility. He sets him up inside, and boom, fakes outside, slaps that arm down, comes off that spin. Great execution on the spin. And boom, he does it. It's with good timing here. There are times where he'll try this spin move, and we saw that the Senior Bowl where he'll dictate it a little bit and telegraph it. But when you time it up this perfect and you close this much airspace, the offensive line tries to stab him. He turns his shoulder, swipes the arm, And look, he puts him on his back, able to have balance here, and corrals the quarterback, gets him down for a big loss, man. In terms of being a speed rusher, man, there's not too many better in this class. And Mike Green, it starts with that. You're going to see him lined up here on the right. He's going to give that ghost rush is what they call it. It's pretty much where you swipe the hand and then you kind of dip under. When the lineman tries to punch you, you swipe that hand down and just dip underneath him trying to get it. And by the time he figures out what the heck is going on, you halfway to the quarterback. So let's watch him work with that ghost rush here on this right side. Again, against better competition in the ACC. Boom, getting down. It's so fast. And again, he corrals the quarterback by the legs. Again, I want to see him be able to finish with some strip sacks. And I understand he's laying out and these guys are trying to escape, but going for the ball is something that he'll need to be able to learn in the pros. Because when you get to the quarterback that much, if you're not coming up with turnovers, man, sacks are cool, but turnovers are better. But again, let's watch this move, how it works. He gets upfield, sets it up, and then watch that right arm. He takes that little leap, chops the punch down. The guy tries to punch. He kind of misses. He misses the swipe, but regardless, he times up the dip. The guy tries to punch him, but he completely misses and can't do anything but get his hands on Mike Green's back. By the time that happens, again, he's halfway to the quarterback and he finishes strong, getting him down on the ground. Let's watch him again do the same move against Ohio State, the same number of the right tackle, number 7. He's going to execute the hand swipe a little bit better here. Not going to get home, but definitely gets a pressure. Watch him set this up, gets the arm chop. Look at the right arm chop that initial punch. And then once he tries to recover, you dip down so he can't get anything on you. Look at that right tackle's right arm. He tries to punch him. Mike Green swipes it down. Once he gets parallel with him or side by side, he tries to reset the punch, but Mike Green is gone already at that point. He's able to get that pressure. The ball is gone, but he definitely is able to get a pressure and somewhat affects the throw. It is a PI, but just look at the execution of the ghost. He doesn't really dip as low as before, but he hand swipes and gets low. Boom, tries to get around the corner. This guy has speed for days, man, and getting around that corner, man. In terms of just getting after the passer, not too many better than Mike Green in this class. All right, so let's check him out against the run. He had a very, very high run defense grade because he makes a lot of plays just shooting gaps and being fast to the ball. They're going to run the zone read away from him. He's going to be lined up here on the left. The running back is going to go away from him, but he has the speed to attack the mesh point and still get to the running back before he can even cut back to get the TFL. Again, he makes a lot of tackles by the ankles, and sometimes he does miss a lot of plays because he dives at legs instead of bringing his feet, bringing his shoulder pads, or bringing his arms. And a lot of the questions sometimes were him about his mass. So maybe it's because of his play strength that he's not able to hit up higher and make tackles. But again, you have to be able to tackle without just going at players' legs. But again, a very, very great play showing great speed and explosion off the line to be able to come down the line of scrimmage and make a play on a running back. Another play by him where the ball is going away from him this time. This time there's going to be a cutoff block by the tight end, but I want you to see how he plays this to keep backside contained even when he's being blocked by a tight end. He's going to be here lined up on the left side again. Boom. Takes on the tight end, keeps vision on the running back as the cutback happens. He's able to try to free himself, makes a play on the ball for the game to get there, and just holding fort on that backside. Even though he was unblocked on the first rep, here is him taking on a tight end, maintaining integrity, not getting washed down inside as the running back tries to cut back, frees himself a little bit and gets enough of the running back for the convoy to come. Just a good play, being able to play that backside pursuit and staying disciplined and staying at home. Let's watch an opportunity where they run at him, and I want to see him set the edge. A lot of things you got to do. You got to set the edge, maintain outside leverage. That way the running back can't turn the corner. When they're running outside zone your way as a defensive end or edge rusher, you have to be able to keep that outside arm free, at least to the point where you can free yourself. And if the running back tries to get outside, he can't, or you can completely set the edge and force a cutback to where your help is inside. He's going to do a good job here. Boom. Bringing the force. That's what you want to see. You want to see him bring good force, boom, hands and helmet. Boom, shocks the defensive lineman, offensive lineman. Watch where the offensive lineman is when he comes off the ball. He's here right above that. It looks like the 45. But when Green hits him, boom, he hits him back to the other side, maintains that length and extension here. And the running back's going to have to go inside that block because he set the edge, but the help is there. Even then, he's still able to free himself from that block, Mike Green is, and come back and make a play on the running back as well. So just a good play, bringing heavy hands, heavy force, boom, bringing a nice effort here and being strong at the point of attack here and getting hands on the guy, maintaining, and boom, getting that tackle and getting the running back on the ground. So you can run at him. He can still make some plays in that instance and set the edge. Here's the instance of the team running away from him. He's going to take on a blocker and free himself. When you play in a 3-4 or a 2-gap system, when you call it 2-gap, you're going to take on the blocker. You have to take him on, use your hands to get full extension, and then you peek. You take on the block and you peek around to see where the ball is going. And as the ball gets there, you free yourself. In some systems where you only have 1 gap, you attack and then you react. So you get penetration, get in the backfield like he does, and then you react to whether it's a run or a pass. In a 2-gap system or whatever system he may be, if he plays in an odd front or something like that, you want to react, as in see it and take on your blocker, then peek. That's your part of the reaction part, is you peek around to see what's going on, and then you attack once you diagnose what happens and once the ball gets to you. So boom, he's going to react here, but he's going to attack a little bit, but he's not attacking in the gap and just going in the backfield. He's going to attack the blocker. Same thing, shocks the guy with that, gets extension. Look at him free himself. Look, he gets extension, locking those arms out, but once he sees where the ball is, he keeps vision on the running back, and he's able to free himself at the point of attack and make that play as the guy goes into a pile. So this is the technique you want to see when you're talking about stacking and shedding. He's doing it against a tight end here, so keep that in mind. But again, this is the proper technique that you want to see. He doesn't really have a problem doing it here against these smaller defenders. Where he gets in trouble is when it's time to go against tackles who are bigger or have longer arms than him, because the key about this and why so many people like to have guys with long arms in these scenarios is you can free yourself a lot easier. Even though you can get your hands inside because he executes the proper technique, but sometimes it's hard to free yourself when you don't have the proper length and a guy has you inside and may be stronger than you. But again, doing it against a tight end, this is textbook right here. Frees himself, boom. You want to free yourself violently and then make the play. So be violent, make the play. He has no problem being violent. Here's another play where they're running at Mike Green here on the right side. Again, boom, going to set the edge. Look at that, keeping that outside arm free again. He shocks, gets his hands up first. He has quick hands to get hands on the defender and get him inside. Gets hands on first. Gets outside leverage to set the edge to force the cutback. The homies are there to clean up, and you get on top of there. But these are plays that may not show up in the stat sheet because you're probably not getting credit for a tackle. But the fact that you force them inside to where all the help is huge. Look at this. Keeping vision on the running back, forcing the cutback, getting him down on the ground, man. Great play by him to set that edge. So, of course, he has the shorter arms, is less than 33 inches, and I talked about that, and measurables are just measurables. They're guidelines, they're benchmarks, they're thresholds that we've seen guys in the past have success. Obviously, you make comps. There's smaller guys that had shorter arms that are able to overcompensate. When you have a think about a guy like Aiden Hutchinson or Trey Hendrickson, they have shorter arms, but the way they compensate, they're a lot heavier in the pants, and when it comes to playing the run, that helps them a little bit more because even though you can't really take on blocks in terms of your length, you're able to overcompensate and not get pushed around at times. Now, Mike Green at the Senior Bowl, he weighed in at 251, which was a big relief for some people because during the summer at the Senior Bowl, he weighed in at 230 something. So that's very, very concerning at that standpoint. But if you're 251, it definitely will play for sure. But at times you can still have concerns about the play strength and just the ability to consistently set the edge against bigger linemen. And measurables are just measurables. But when the problems from those measurables show up on tape, that's when I get concerned. Here's him at the left, going to take on a double team. But this is not so much about him being too short of arms. This is him more so of play strength and just being way too high. Watch how high he is when he takes on these blocks. He tries to swim over it, but look, he's standing straight up. Both guys are lower than him. He gets driven back and misses the tackle there and just overwhelmed by that double team. When you're taking on double team, you're going to have to be low. And like I said, play low to keep yourself there, hold your fort there, but you get up off your feet trying to swim. You get too high and you get overwhelmed. You get a tight end even driving you back and you get overwhelmed there and you miss the play there. So just playing too high at times. And he does this because he tries to slip and split stuff versus just taking on blocks and being stout. But it makes you, sometimes it can make you pay. So again, he gets in trouble by just being too high. He's going to be here on the right side going against an offensive lineman. Like I said, he's a little bit lighter in the pants sometimes, and he can get thrown around a little bit. Here, you're going to see this left tackle for the other team kind of have his way with him in the running game. When you sit there, you take him on that high, you get drove back and get pretty much thrown out of the club, and you create a lane for the running back to go inside of where you were just pretty much removed from. So watch as Mike Green comes here. Look how high he is. He's almost standing straight up. Almost takes his block on standing straight up, gives his chest up completely. The lineman gets hands on him. Like I said, sometimes when there's bigger defenders on him, especially when you don't play low, because the low man wins in football, you let him get your chest, he's gonna have your way with you. Look at him getting driven back on the spot. You can see Mike's legs buckling a little bit, and then he finishes the block. Good job by the offensive lineman of kind of digging him out and throwing him out of the club again and getting through there. But Mike Green playing a little bit too high, and sometimes that lack of size and play strength shows. If you're gonna be that small and that with the short arms, you have to be able to play with leverage and play with a low pad level. That way you don't get thrown off the spot, but you're standing straight up, taking on blocks. The end result will be that. There are times when Mike Green is the low man and he's still not able to win. So when it tells me when you're executing the proper technique, using your hands, taking on blocks, but you're still getting displaced or moved, that lets me know that it could be a concern when you're going against bigger linemen. Here, he gets upfield at least to set the edge, but look how he easily gets turned and gets overwhelmed, not able to maintain vision. Like I said, he gets his hands on him first. That's the thing. Sometimes if you don't get your hands up, and don't get inside, you can get overwhelmed. But the fact that he's able to get his hands up, but he still gets overwhelmed, that tells me that length is a problem, because look how strong the guy is that's able to overwhelm him, pushes him back. And of course, he gets a little bit of help from the tight end coming to get him. But by then, he's already overwhelmed. He hits it with force, but he's still not able to be strong enough to take on this guy, and he gets a little bit overwhelmed. Like I said, push back, and the cutback happens. So again, this is not a technique issue. This is not him just not doing what he's supposed to do, not doing his assignment. This is just, hey, you're not big enough. You may not be strong enough. You may not have the long enough arms. You can gain weight and get stronger, but how much speed do you sacrifice? Because that's the name of your game. And also, you can't grow your arm length. If you could grow tall or get longer in the gym, trust me, I'd be 7 feet tall, but I'm not. I'm 5'8". Unfortunately, there's not a machine or a device for that. So Mike Green, that's kind of is what he is in terms of just the measurables from that standpoint. So you have to ask that question. Here's one more example of Mike Green at the point of attack. This time he's going to be setting the edge on the right side. They're going to run his way. He's going to do a good job again setting the edge, keeping that outside arm free. But what you want to do again when you're stacking and shedding, you want to peek and then be able to shed the block. His timing is a little bit off. Why is the timing off? Because look, he gets extension, but look, the other guy is able to get extension as well, gets their hands inside. This is where the lack of length shows up, because you can't get rid of him in time. Because usually if you have the length and you're able to get your hands inside first, like he does a good job of shooting his hands in early enough sometimes. But this time he doesn't get his hands. The other guy gets his hands inside, controls Mike, even though he's maintaining outside leverage. The cutback happens, but when he tries to violently shed, he's a step too slow because he can't free himself up fast enough, and boom, that ends up popping the run. You run through, you end up having an arm tackle the running back, and he's off to the races. So you missed that block. You missed that tackle there because you can't get off the block fast enough, and the timing is off, and now you got a guy about to hit his head on the goal. Now, obviously, there's things to mitigate. I don't see him playing in a 2-gap system or a certain type of 3-4 system that want him to play multi-gaps where you consistently take on blocks and try to shed those blocks and free yourself, similar to what my Carolina Panthers do. But if you put him in a 4-3, put his hand in the dirt where all he has to do is set the edge, sometimes he can shoot gaps and go inside and use that quickness to win instead. I think he can definitely be a factor to develop in an every down edge. But I think right now, there's definitely too many concerns about him in the running game in terms of just holding the point of attack, consistently taking on blocks with length and shedding them with using his hands. So I think he would be best suited for a 4-3. I do expect him to still go in the first round, but I just think there's concerns on an every down basis depending on what type of system that you play in. And every player is not perfect, so you just have to find the right system. So Mike Green is probably the right player for you, may not be the right player for you. So you just got to know what's your flavor and what you're looking for. If you need them 33 to 34 inch arms, Mike Green doesn't have it. But if you want a guy that's going to be able to shoot inside, make plays in the running game, he is your man. But as you can see, we got the full scope of Mike Green, the good, the bad, the ugly. I have currently a day 2 grade on him, but the value in this draft, there's guys, when you're a pure pass rusher like that and the production is there, there's some guys that are made to be outliers. Potentially, Mike Green can be an outlier in the right system, under the right coaching, of course, and you put him in position to succeed. I love his bag as a pass rusher, and that's always a hot commodity coming out of the draft. So it'll be interesting to see just how high Mike Green can go. You guys let me know down below in the comments, where do you predict that Mike Green will go in the draft? I think he's a first rounder, but I don't know how high just yet as we get through this process. But I want to get you guys' thoughts down below in the comments. Be sure to click up here for another draft video that you may be interested in as we talk about this thing throughout the process. I appreciate you guys watching. I'll see you next time.